Oh boy, little did I know that playing 30 farming games for 2 hours each would lead me to being called to go back to where I came from,
What you need to do is go back to your country. Excuse me?
nesting an egg, meeting many well-used hoes
Oh my god!
for tilling, playing as a banished drunken noble, getting attacked by a boar, and meeting a ton of emotionally unavailable hotties. Hello you gorgeous human being, it's Miss Bubbles. I play a ton of farming games and RPGs on this channel, and I gotta say, the thing that matters to me the most is a really good gameplay loop. So in many cases, even if the story and the characters are on the weaker side, a fun gameplay loop is what it takes to get me hooked. If I miss a game that you like or you hate, it's probably in a previous video that I've made. It will either be in farming games that I adore or farming games that I cannot stand, so I'm gonna pin these for you right below the like button. Also, please note that this is not a full review of any of these games. This is simply my first impressions after 2 hours to decide the ultimate question. Do I want to invest more time into this game, or am I just uninstalling it and ticking it off of my backlog forever? We've streamed 16 of these games, let me know if you want a playlist for them, and without further ado, let's dive in. Starting with this gorgeous pixel art game in early access, the story begins with you arriving in a town built from what's left of the world after an apocalypse. Society has fallen apart, people are surviving in trailers and shipping containers, and now it's time to help the society flourish again. Farming-wise, I like the innovation in the crop names. We started with basins, English is not my first language, so please don't come for me today, which are for single use in the beginning, and you're gonna notice that you can build vertically using platforms. You can plant crops, water them, and then wait for harvest. And the twist is the acid rain that's gonna come in and wreak havoc on your crops and your tent. So you're gonna need to use protection, which I hope you're always using protection, you know? You're gonna start with a simple workbench to craft items, and then you can place these on your land. You also have the skill tree here with different perks and new gameplay mechanics that will tie into it. There seems to be combat, but we did not reach that in our gameplay. I'm gonna say the tutorial needs more work because I didn't know how to work around a lot of things, including the skill tree, and the map is so big and confusing to the point that in one of the quests, I had no idea how to get to the mining area. The pacing was also overall pretty slow, so I was sleeping off a lot of the days just to try and progress the game. Overall, I like the ideas here, but the game still needs a little bit more guidance, so hopefully by the full release, the devs would have fixed all of this, and I think I'm probably coming back to play more.
One more game.
Now the next one was more so for funsies, but quick lore, I used to love Rune Factory 4. But I don't know, once I played Rune Factory 5 and now also Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, I just started to hate how much struggle 4 put me through, especially with the trigger events that had my relationships locked for a long time. So I thought this challenge would be a nice way, you know, to give it a try again, see if maybe I can fall back in love with it. And of course, in Rune Factory fashion, you start the game once again with amnesia. You end up being assigned to be a prince or a princess to replace somebody else. My feelings still stand about how quirky the characters are, and I like how when you start, every bachelor and bachelorette will get this little cutscene just to give them, you know, a bit of an intro, kind of like how you get the intros to the singles onto Hot to Handle.
Because I'm not the brightest spark in the book.
And you also gotta know that the story is very story-driven, so there's gonna be a ton of dialogue, which I have no problem with. And did you know that the Coquel family was here too? They're also connected to Mauro from Azuma and Palmo from Rune Factory 5. Oh my god, Palmo pisses me off.
Take your time, take your time, take your time.
Farming is simple in the beginning. You're just gonna till, plant, water crops, and you can stack resources up together like this when you pick them up, which makes the process a bit easier. Now, as a prince or a princess, you can access Eliza or Eliza. It's this box here, and you can use points to make orders like expanding your backpack, hosting a wide range of festivals, and more. One thing I was reminded of, though, is that the game just doesn't explain much. I remember trying to replay it a few years ago, and I realized that, yeah, I've forgotten a lot about the game, so I was getting annoyed by how much I had to use the wiki for help. That happened here yet again, but luckily chat was helping me out. This is an RPG in a true sense, one of my favorite genres ever. So you're gonna have different skills to level up. You're gonna have combat, which I enjoyed. It's more of a hack and slash format with dungeons and rooms that you're gonna clear out, and you can also take companions with you. Controls are a bit finicky, but you eventually get used to them. And I gotta admit, this rekindled my spark with the game. So I think I'm gonna be booting it up, but I'm not gonna boot it up as fast as I will with the next game. Oh my goodness, this one is 100% play again. I'm gonna spare you the details if that's all you want to know, but if you want to know exactly why, basically in I Am Future, you wake up after years of sleep and you find yourself as the last survivor on Earth in this post-apocalyptic world. And your home now is this rooftop, so you're gonna have to build a base for yourself. You play as a man or a woman, and you can change your hairstyle. You've got a little bit of options, but not too many. And to survive, you're gonna be gathering loads of materials using this synthetic arm, which by the way, you can upgrade to make switching between tools much easier. You can choose between 3 different modes, and you can also play around with filters to decide how hardcore you want the survival elements to be. But we went with the intended experience. It was fine, definitely challenging, but you know, we were starving quite a lot, but we somehow just pulled it off. Now, this rooftop has so many secrets, so you're gonna be dismantling materials, you're gonna use the campfire to make foods to make sure that your hunger levels are in check, you're gonna sleep to gather your energy back. But the rooftop is not the only place here.
What about that shadowy place?
That's beyond our borders. You must never go there.
You can go on expeditions by using your drones to find even more materials and learn about the secrets of the world and what happened here. Farming-wise, you're gonna craft garden beds, you're gonna plant the seeds and use fertilizer while you wait for them to grow. But here's the thing, leeches are gonna try and eat your crops. They're gonna spawn at night, so you gotta, fight them. However, our timer ran out before we fully got to experience the farming here. You also have these other purple stuff that are gonna spawn, so you're gonna spray them away because they will block you from accessing materials. Despite the game not holding your hand, I just found it so much easier to understand than some of the other games we're gonna discuss today, so I am hooked. This is 1000% play again.
One more game, 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 one more game.
Now, if you like mechs and farming, you probably had your eyes on this one. And first things first, I love the graphics, the music, and the fact that we have a shit ton of setting options, especially to help people with motion sickness like me and a lot of you have. Overall, the premise of being able to enter and leave the mech whenever you want is cool. You're gonna spend time building your base, decorating it, gather resourcing to craft different items, building stations to make fuel for your mech, and thankfully you can use markers on the map to help with navigation. You learn that there are different civilizations outside of your planet, and they have a bit of lore about them. Farming-wise, you have a tool wheel to use, you're gonna till the soil, plant the seed, water it, and wait for the plant to blossom and harvest. But this is when I stopped having interesting things to look forward to in the game. You see, I just found myself sleeping early a lot to pass the time. I didn't know what I'm supposed to do, so the gameplay loop felt aimless, like I just didn't have much that I cared for to work on, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be interested in coming back to this because, yeah, I was bored, but that boredom was cured by this next game. This one was so much fun. It starts off with unbubbly behavior because your ranch has been burnt to the ground, you're surrounded by sus neighbors, and there's a gang that's looking to mess with you. Not gonna lie, this game feels like a meme, but somehow it keeps you hooked. It works, as Todd Howard says, it just works, and the narrator is you, so you have voice acting for your protagonist, but the NPCs talk like huskies. But this still creates an intriguing story as you try to get back up on your feet. There are survival mechanics, you gotta manage your sleep, your health, and stuff like bleeding and poisoning, thirst and hunger. And if you love stealing in games, yeah, you're gonna have a field day here. It felt like I'm playing a Bethesda game because I was looting everything and making so much money. Farming-wise, I still have no idea how to till the soil, but thankfully we had a few fields that I was able to recultivate with my hoe.
Nice.
Then you need to water them, which takes forever. They really need to cut this time down. The game is open world, so we got ourselves a horse, and then you can go to the town where you're gonna find various shops like the saloon, blacksmith, carpenter, pharmacy, and more to trade items, buy things for yourself, sell stuff. You also have a list of skills, challenges, and leveling up options, which creates a fun progression loop where you're gonna find yourself constantly unlocking new mechanics. You even get a revolver, which came in handy because a freaking boar attacked me out of nowhere. I I was fighting for my life. So what were my issues? Basically, it's because there's no field of view slider. I think this is a must-have feature these days, but thankfully we had other motion sickness controls, so I was not getting motion sick even though this was in first person, but I would really appreciate an FOV slider. Tools also have durability, so it gets annoying having to constantly replace them, and a mini map would be a game changer. I cannot explain this, I was having the best time. And to be honest with you, I was so sad when the timer went off, so the verdict is, even in early access, yeah, 100% play again.
One more game, one more game, one more game.
Have you ever heard of Everdream Valley? Well, basically, this is its sequel. You're still a kid, but somehow you're also a mayor.
Huh?
You're gonna see your mom, dad, grandparents, etc. all joining you from the first game to help you build a village this time. The gimmick of using your hat to merge into different animals is back, so for example, you can become a dog, and then you can bark to herd animals. You have a lot of freedom, so you can decorate, build and place things down, terraform the land, except for the areas with water. Cooking has a minigame similar to Fruit Ninja. Do you remember that game? I used to play a lot on my phone. Crafting has you physically craft things the first time and then you can instantly craft them, but some of them were so difficult to put together and I just found that really tedious to deal with. You can catch bugs, chop trees, fish, villagers can help with chores, and farming is very easy in this game. You can till a massive field in seconds, plant and water crops very quickly, and you don't even need seeds, you simply plant the veggie or the fruit. And I noticed that there doesn't seem to be any seasonal crops or seasons at all, but you also have no idea how long the crops will take to grow. There's no stamina, which is really nice sometimes to see when we get tired of managing stamina in other farming games, and looks like the backpack is endless, which I know is gonna be music to many of y'all's ears. But I gotta say, the inventory desperately needs a sort button. You can trade with the villagers, give them gifts, you can have them follow you around, and they also have a mood bar that you're gonna have to maintain and manage. The tutorials were easy to follow for the most part until I got stuck on a quest and I had no idea how to complete it. And the issues from the first game slowly started to creep back in, which is a shame to see. We yet again have so many tools and only 9 hotbar spaces available, so you're gonna be switching tools out from the depth of your inventory, which is very tedious. This is why I really think a sort button is much needed. Also, the maps are very cluttered. Controls in general are confusing. Sometimes they want you to use the D-pad, other times they want you to use the joystick. Even transforming to the animals was cumbersome. For example, we were trying to use the dog to track down herbs and it just took forever for that process to be done. So this is an early access. Hopefully the devs will fix all of these issues, but I feel like I'm more on the fence. Like, I don't know. This is one of those games that I'm not sure if I want to come back to. Now, Lens Island would fit into my video of farming games that everybody loves, but I don't, because it has very positive reviews, but I had a roller coaster with it. I would get excited for a new gameplay mechanic for like 5 minutes, then quickly get bored. So you have a procedurally generated map where you're gonna start a new game, there's no story, and the game moves you from one act to another when you activate these obelisks, and then you're gonna track down different keystones which you can find inside of dungeons. You're also gonna be fighting monsters and mining inside of these dungeons. Combat is pretty challenging, so I was fighting for my life a couple of times. You have special attacks, you can roll out, you can use different weapons and get armor to defend yourself. You're gonna gain experience and level up to access new perks like getting more health or having hunger decrease at a lower rate. There's no stamina here and there's no need for you to sleep at a certain time. However, monsters will kick your ass because they get a lot trickier to deal with after dark, and your house, which you're gonna be building yourself, will get attacked, so you're gonna need to maintain it and place down defenses to protect it. You're also gonna eventually craft a raft and sail around for various procedurally generated islands. The UI is very messy, using a controller was not smooth at all, and overall this was again a meh experience. Like, the gameplay didn't feel compelling enough for me to be invested. So I was just eager for the 2 hours to finish so that we can have the next day come by and I can test out another game. So hopefully the next game is gonna click with me a little bit better. Okay, this one I've seen popping on my timeline for a long time, especially for those of you who love a dark and twisted cozy farming game. I still don't understand how cozy and dark can be in the same sentence, but some devs managed to make it work. Basically, there's this someone called Finn. Finn is an animal. Finn finds you and brings you back to a town along with another animal. And yes, you're gonna play as an animal as well. You can customize how you look like. And while you're recovering, you learn that there's a big problem in the city. And everyone collectively decides that it's better to be safe than sorry. Let's start prepping for the worst. So the main goal becomes stocking up on food. I really enjoy the music, the art style, and the animals talk like Animal Crossing villagers. But unlike Animal Crossing New Horizons, let's put that with an asterisk, these animals actually have a personality. And to throw a bit more shade, they actually contribute to projects, which is nice to see. To farm, you're gonna till the soil, plant seasonal crops, water them, then harvest. Food can spoil, so you gotta cook it, can it, or dry it on a drying rack to make it last longer, which is so important because you and everybody else are gonna be donating food. And you gotta keep in mind that villagers have different requirements. Some are herbivores, others are carnivores, so you gotta have enough variety so everybody can eat. Fishing is a bit tricky because the second the bob goes under, you need super fast reflexes. I do like the mining here. You break walls for ore, and some of these walls are gonna be so weak so they can make the entire floor collapse, sending you deeper to the mine to find rarer treasures. You can upgrade your tools, level up, use skill points, and improve crop quality. The game also easily tells you if you spoke to someone today, which makes relationship tracking a lot easier. The story is interesting, and I actually wanted to know what happens next, but the controls when I played it were so janky, both mouse and keyboard and controller. It is an early access, and I appreciate the different premise, but also it felt too slow for me. It's more of a podcast and chill type of game, and while I love the innovation, it just didn't click with me as much as I hoped it would be, especially when so many of you told me so many good things about it. So I felt like the opposite happened between this and the next game. Everybody told me I would love this one, and I was like, meh. But everybody told me I will hate the next one. I was actually in love. You know, when the 2 hours ran out, I was so sad to stop playing this game. Basically, your character stumbles across this village while they were on their way home, and they get trapped there. It's a bit dark, especially when most of the NPCs look like these silhouettes. But don't worry, the main characters involved in the story do have actual portraits. By the way, you're always gonna play as a girl, and you cannot customize your character. That's not an issue for me, but I know it will be for some of you. So the dialogue is very quirky. Someone is literally called a simp. Even the rice grinder talks. And the cool thing here is that when you go to the market on Wednesday and Saturday to buy gifts, the game will only let you use the right gift for the right person, and that eliminates the guessing process. And these gifts are important to level up your friendship, which are then tied to unlocking new gameplay mechanics. Farming is simple. You till the soil, plant, water, and harvest, and there doesn't seem to be any seasonal crops, but it does rain, and you're gonna get these creatures that will help you on the farm. Some will till the soil, others will water it, so it's interesting to collect them, but sometimes they are difficult to use because their AI is a bit stupid, so they're not gonna till or water the exact spot that you're trying to get. There are also many decor options for your house, and some of the NPC homes have so much attention to detail. I mean, look at the lighting, it's so beautiful. But the soil is very hard to tell if it's watered or not, which was a little bit annoying. I like that we have plenty of quests to do. Fishing is pretty easy, and apparently there's combat, but we didn't reach that in the stream. My nitpicks are how slow the time passes by and how difficult map navigation is. However, I was so hooked. I really wanted to see what happens next. I was intrigued by the story, by the gameplay, and this was 1000% play again.
Game, one more game, one more game.
Now, if I was to describe my experience with this next game, it would be, what the heck is that? But also, oh my god, this is so freaking realistic. Farming Sim 2025 is so flipping cool with next level attention to detail. Heck, from the lighting to the environment, the vehicles, crops, animals, roads, trees, etc. The devs even use many in real life brands here that I didn't even know exist. So let's take it back a second. You customize your character, then you choose one of the various available maps based on the difficulty level that you're comfortable with. But one thing I will say is this game's learning curve is steep, to the point that our mod shared 69 YouTubers with their 69 playlists for me to understand the game.
What am I supposed to do?
Basically, you can do so many things, from farming, using these tractors, to getting animals and using their produce, to riding a horse, having horses breed so you can sell their babies, which is sad. But let me tell you, cutting lumber here is so zen. Crops can be planted based on the season. You've got contracts that you can pick up and fulfill, and you're slowly building your empire. You're gonna explore a shit ton of mods. But again, the issue is that steep learning curve, so I had no idea what I was supposed to do 90% of the time. I can tell this is a very addictive game if you know how to play. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I have the patience to learn it, especially when I played a game like this next one and it had me in a chokehold. You know that feeling when you click with a game, you fall in love with it, but life just hits you in the face and you somehow just stop playing and you kind of forget about it for a while? Yeah, I remember playing Wildmender when it first came out in September 2023. You remember that time when everybody and their mother was releasing all of their farming games? And lucky for us, this year, September 2026, we've got RPGs and farming games coming left, right, and center. How are you coping with this? Because I just can't. Anyways, I am so happy that I got back into this one. So basically, we're here in this desert that actually used to be full of greenery, and we're trying to discover what happened. Instead of typical crops and farming, you're more so gardening. You have survival mechanics, so you're managing thirst, hunger, and health, but the settings let you tweak everything, so don't worry about it being difficult. For example, in my save, we changed the day length because when you're outside in the sun, your thirst is gonna drop so quickly, so we made the daytime shorter and the nighttime longer, making exploration a lot easier, and I adore exploration in games. You have to stick to the shade as the time passes by, and you're gonna see how the shade moves around. There are tornadoes that you gotta watch out for. We've got some combat using a mirror where you can either reflect the light or shoot a ray of light at the enemy. The visuals are stunning. The way that the light moves, it has so much attention to detail. The more you play, the more you expand little ponds and you're gonna plant around them. Some plants love to be wet.
Yeah, boy.
Some don't like being too wet or being in a crowded area. And in the beginning, you're gonna notice that surviving is harsh, but the more that you play, the easier it gets. My only issue is the lack of a minimap. You have a compass and you can place down markers, you can rename them and change how the legend looks, but I desire a minimap here. Also, some things aren't explained, so you might need to look them up. Once you figure out how to prepare before exploring, I think you're good to go. I don't want to give too much of the game because discovering the gameplay mechanics, I think, is the best aspect of this game, but can you guess that this is 1000%? I actually went back and played it a lot, so yeah, I love this game.
One more game.
Bubbles, play Fields of Mistria. Bubbles, have you tried Fields of Mistria? Bubbles, you're missing out on Fields of Mistria. I heard you. And the thing is, I was sent a code for Fields of Mistria ages ago, but I just wanted to wait for a full release because as much as I love early access games, at the time this one released, I was juggling way too many early access games, so I just needed something to be in full release. Anyway, I gave in and I added it to this challenge, and let me say the art style is so flipping cute and colorful, and listen, they had my attention ages ago when they said that this game is an RPG after all. Also, the portraits, like, hello? Why is everyone looking like royalty? And apparently the dragon can be romanced, and a lot of you are simping over the dragon. Shall we talk about that or not? The start of this game is pretty slow because it is one of those farming games that wants you to go and meet 22 people around the town before they give you more quests. And I noticed that the map is too big for me.
That's what she said.
And a bit too empty for my liking, so I was getting lost quite a lot. So hopefully they add some markers to make this easier. It's also hard to know who's who on the map because everyone is pixelated. Like, I can only tell Juniper and Adeline apart, whereas everybody else kind of look the same. So we have farming, fishing, mining, and all of that, but we only got to discover farming, which was pretty easy. You till the soil, plant, water, and wait for harvest. And you're going to be collecting this essence when you're doing all of your chores, and then you can use those as skill points in the skill tree. I really like the music, the customization is adorable, the menus are also very handsome. I love how you can track everything in the same place. You've got your inventory, equipment, skills, quests, villagers, whether you talked to them or gifted them that day or not, your animals, and later on, magical spells. All of this in the same place. This also seems like a great game for completionists. There are lots of artifacts, over 160 dishes to cook, plenty of bugs to catch, and a museum where you can donate collections. I'm also happy to see accessibility options. You can turn off screen shake and screen flash. You can also choose whether you want an oversleep penalty and even change the speed of day. The characters are interesting, even if some feel a bit too mean just for the sake of being mean. But with the full release coming soon, I will be restarting the save and I'm 1000% going to be sucked into this world. Yeah. I'm gonna be gone for a while in July when this is out.
One more game, one more game, one more game!
This one started with violence. First, you're not gonna find it on Steam if you live in the UK, but the developer was kind enough to send it to me a couple of years ago. With that said, the game just bugged out and we had to keep restarting the opening. Eventually, I had to watch a tutorial from someone else while streaming this because the game simply won't let me play or try the tutorial. Apart from that chaos, once we got it to work, I really liked the 2.5D art style. It's kind of like Paper Mario meets Stardew Valley, and I gotta applaud the devs' creativity with the new cool gameplay mechanics that we have not seen in farming games before. So you start by customizing your character, who's eventually found frozen after 100 years. You've lost your memory and you're trying to figure out what happened and who you are. Right off the bat, you get a dog and pretty soon this cute little chick that will follow you around. Now, I want to talk about the cart system. You're gonna collect these and choose which ones you want to activate to get extra rewards like the ability to change the weather, get more gold, get night fishing bonuses, etc. Farming looks simple in the beginning, only to slap on a whole soil system with nitrogen and whatnot. The game doesn't even explain it well. Maybe that was supposed to be in the tutorial that the game did not let me even experience. And when it comes to NPCs, your dialogue has different options like positive, humorous, or negative, which gives a little bit of Fallout vibes. There's also combat, but we didn't really get to explore it too much. I like the town, the music, how customizable many things are, including the camera viewpoint, and in general, I love the innovation here. However, I do not like the map. It's so confusing. It doesn't look nice at all, so this really needs to be replaced. Also, the controls are an absolute nightmare. Add to that the lack of navigation in the game. It just needs more time in the oven. It is an early access, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm more than happy to come back to this one, but I think it needs like big updates before I dive back in. Now, if you like witchy games, this might have been on either your wish list or your backlog. So the story starts with you flying on your broom and bam, you fall over the beach and you end up on this island. So you get a key to a previous witch's rundown house, you start fixing it, and you find a talking cauldron inside. What could possibly go wrong from here? First off, I gotta say visually the environment is beautiful. It's luscious. There are random animals everywhere, from lizards to weird-looking bunnies and weird-looking deer, but the NPCs are such a disappointment. They're the total opposite. They look so awkward and out of place, they kind of feel dead. Plus, you have these tourists around who are very generic, they say very generic things, and there's no emotional expression or soul in them. It gave me Chilltown vibes. If you know, you know, and you're an OG. Farming is pretty complicated to the point that spreadsheets are available on the wiki to help you out. Need I say more? You have 6 seasons, each are 20 days long. The days pass by fairly quickly, but I feel like 6 seasons is an overkill. Farming itself is detailed. You till the soil, plant crops, and then the game is gonna tell you how many days they take and which seasons they grow in. But add to that, you also have moon phases and whatever. I'm just like, bro, it's too much. You can restore your stamina by using potions or sleeping. You can swim, and no matter what the demons say, don't make that jump.
Just do it!
And apparently you can transform into your cat and fly around using your broom, but we didn't reach that stage. The most unappealing thing to me is how directionless and slow the game is. And this happens a lot, especially when it's introducing new gameplay mechanics and quests. By the way, we found out about like almost 2 hours in that there's a side quest tab. I did not know that that was there, so this would have made tracking things a lot easier. But with many things locked behind the story and me not knowing what to do most of the time, I was just just put off. Heck, even one of the quests has us looking for quartz, and it felt like it took forever even though we were just trying to find 5. So I don't know why the grind is so exaggerated even in the very early hours of the game. One of our community members said that she's poured over 800 hours into this and loved it. I trust her, I believe her, but I don't know, for me, I just wasn't hooked. She does say that the story gets more intriguing and dark as well, but if I want to come back to this game, it would be in the distant future because this next game, that's more like me. And that game is called Sengoku Dynasty, not to be confused with my beloved Medieval Dynasty, one of my tough farming games. They are both published by the same studio, Toplets, but they're made by different development teams. Now, this time you're building your dynasty during feudal Japan. You're gonna start from scratch, trying to survive the war, and you end up on a land where different factions have already set up their settlements. So you decide, you know what, I'm gonna build my own peasant kingdom. You start from nothing, and you gather resources, craft basic tools, and you learn to use these to craft even more complex items. There's a radial wheel, which can be a bit finicky using, especially with a controller, so I was more so leaning on using keyboard and mouse for this one. Building works a lot like Medieval Dynasty. When you place down a house, it's gonna show a ghost silhouette. Then you can use resources that you've collected to build it. Then refugees are gonna come in, you can build houses for them, and naturally they're gonna have their needs, so they're gonna consume a lot of your products. But they can also help you, so it's a win-win. Sadly, we didn't get to see the farming part, but you can also hire workers to tend to your farm, or you can take care of it yourself. I love how customizable the difficulty is, so you can pick between creative, chill, normal, or hard mode, and you have a shit ton of sliders to customize the game to your playstyle. There's going to be raids, and factions will warn you before they attack, so you can decide, you know what, I want to settle this peacefully by paying them, or I'm just gonna let them attack, but the way that you fight back is by hiring guards, so you're gonna take shit into your own hand, and you're gonna set up defenses because these attackers will be stealing your loot. Doesn't feel nice when the NPCs steal our loot for a change, is it? By the way, you can customize your character, but the options are very limited and dark skin tones are non-existent. The map is huge and it feels reminiscent of Assassin's Creed or Ghost of Tsushima if you've played either of them, because you can see where the factions have control and you can choose which targets you want to eliminate. By the time the 2 hours were done, I was so sad and I was like, there's no way. Like, I need to play this again.
One more game, one more game.
So I got this one gifted by the devs on the Switch 2, and I'm surprised that the game doesn't look good at all. But graphics are the least of my problems if we have a solid gameplay loop, and I know many people love this game, but did I love it? So you customize your ride's look. It's this Fable fin, and you're gonna use it to traverse the world. Obviously, I called mine Teddy, just like Teddy. I cannot wait to see Teddy. Guys, I'm finally going to Lebanon, so by the time this video is out, I'm in Lebanon with my family after 2 freaking years, and I'm gonna be with my Teddy.
Can I pet that dog?
No.
Can I pet that dog?
Yes, you can. And you're also gonna feed it to increase its stamina or allow it to sleep to recover, and your goal is to fill the collector's compendium. The more crops, fish, and collectibles you discover, the higher your rank becomes, which unlocks new tools. It's easy to switch between tools, which is really nice, and you don't have to worry about stamina or going to bed at a certain time. The farm, you're gonna craft plant boxes with your hammer. You're gonna plant seeds and water them. Instead of a well, you build a water station, and you use wood to fuel it and get clean water. There's also no seasons, but the crops still have different growth times. You can call a merchant ship that's run by these funny 3 brothers to buy upgrades, crops, recipes, and accessories, or if you want to trade instead of using coins, you could do that as well. Now, while traveling, you can still fish and use a crossbow to gather resources, so it makes the waiting time a bit more fun. And overall, this one is very compact, it has very low stakes, and it's a great game for completionists. I can see it being fun to unwind with, but it's not something I would get hooked on for a long time, so I know a lot of you love this one, but it's just not for me. But I will say I applaud the devs for giving this a try, trying a new premise instead of trying something that is copy-pasted and just, you know, no innovation in there. Doraemon Story of Seasons Friends of the Great Kingdom. That is a massive flippin' title. And here's a little bit of lore between me and the Doraemon Story of Seasons series. I actually tried the first one, and if you've ever watched my videos about farming games that I regret buying, this one always ends up in that list. So I hoped that this sequel will be the better one because many of you shared that this game fixes the issues of the previous one. So, did it pass the vibe check? Let's see. This time around, you get lost on a planet and you start working on Prince Lumi's farm. And you're gonna learn that there are different races in this planet and they have some issues going on. I love the art style here. The landscapes are pretty and colorful. It's very whimsical, just like the first game was. You can skip the tutorials if you've played the first game, but the first 25 to 30 minutes were purely cutscenes. Some dialogue is Japanese voice acted, while others are for you to read, which I'm okay with the alteration. Farming-wise, you have a shipping box on the farm, you can use fertilizer, and seasons are shown through the different colored crop bags. So for example, turnip bags are red, which means they grow in the spring. I like the pouch system because your tools are stacked together, so it's pretty easy to switch between them. You can chop wood, mine, catch bugs, fish, and plant tree saplings. There's no romance, but you have gifting to improve your friendship with NPCs. You also have contests like fishing and racing. Some events are locked behind specific weather conditions, which the menu will show you. And with questing, there's a list of things that you can do, so it's very easy for you to know what you're supposed to do next. And with the map showing you an exclamation mark, you know exactly where to go, which is a massive improvement from the first game. However, the map is yet again so confusing. I cannot tell you how many times I was just lost. I found myself just going in circles. I also noticed that waiting for a specific weather condition to appear was tedious. I was just bored. Like, I didn't have enough entertaining gameplay mechanics to enjoy while I'm waiting for the perfect weather condition. So yeah, this is easily an uninstall for me. I was hoping I can connect with it like I would with even the next game, but yeah, these two, Well, Everholm got a recent massive update. It improved on the many complaints that players had, and I know many people adore this one. In Everholm, you're stuck in a nightmare, you're looking for your sister, but you don't know where she is, and you have no memory of how you even ended up here. I really like the art style, the world is beautiful, the map is big, but yet again we've got lots of empty spaces. On your screen, you have your mana, your stamina, and your health meters that you're gonna have to manage, and the way the game works is by completing objectives to get more guidance on what to do next. You get tools to chop wood, break rocks, farm seasonal crops, sell items in a shipping box, and there's a greenhouse next to your house, but it was locked for the duration that I played. There are also spells that you can learn, some for combat and some for farming. Now, the combat is like okay-ish. You're gonna need it to clear these dungeons, and that's the way I like it. Anyways, that's the way that you earn currency to buy more spells from the witch's shop. I love that relationships are tracked and you get rewarded for different friendship levels. So, you know, there's actually a reason why you would go out of your way to say hi to somebody, because a lot of farming games, you know, you just get the hearts and then nothing happens. But I don't know why a lot of people in this game tend to call you darling, which was just weird. Anyway, the storage is my favorite part of this game. It made me so happy. You can color code the chests, you can name the chests, you can sort, and you can auto stack. This should be a standard in all farming games. I like that the map shows you where everyone is. You've got a few festivals to attend as well, but overall, the pacing is too slow. For example, you need to complete 20 of these notice board jobs to progress your story. And here's the thing, you can only accept 3 every week, and new ones roll in only on Mondays. Can you tell how boring that is to just get only these 3? Also, the game's economy is way too easy. I was buying so many things within my first 2 hours. The first few days felt like they dragged. The notice board closes every time you accept a quest, so that was really annoying because you gotta open it up again and again. You can eventually buy a barn, a coop, upgrade your home, and get ranch animals. But here's the problem for me. If the gameplay loop is also very slow, the pacing is very slow, and I'm not getting rewarded, you're just gonna lose me. And at this point, this was the 3rd day of me dealing with games that I'm just not vibing with. And I feel like maybe this one is my fault because already I should have known from the generic title that it's gonna be a generic game. Well, this game is about bringing chibi versions of VTuber talents from Hololive production, which I've never heard of before, and you're helping them expand Holo Village. More like Hollow Village. Okay, let's start with the positives. I like the character customization, it's very cute, but once again, we have only 4 skin tones and you can only play as a girl. Not an issue for me to just play as a girl, but it's gonna be for a lot of you. The game has Japanese voice acting, which is a nice touch, and the questing system is where things start to fall apart. Basically, you're gonna follow the main quest to progress the story, and then you're gonna be doing these job quests that are tied to adventuring, farming, and fishing, plus daily quests from the notice board. And these last ones get so repetitive so fast, the devs aren't even trying. It's like, sell 1,000 worth of items, cook 3 dishes, catch 3 fish, craft 3 items at the anvil, rinse and repeat. To build the village, you can place down houses, farm plots, furnaces, and you can use a crafting table, but placing things outside is so tedious, which is surprising because the home customization inside is a lot easier. And then also, I don't know why the kitchen oven has to be outside, like why can't I put it inside? Anyways, in terms of farming, there are no seasons. You place a farm field, till, plant, and water. Watering is painfully slow. Some crops will glow, which means they're gonna give you shiny seeds, which I still have no idea what they do. You also have fishing, which is pretty easy, and these dungeons where you're gonna explore combat. Combat is mostly just swinging your weapon, but there's this boss who wiped the floor with my ass. He has the biggest attack ranges, and you can't dodge, which is wild. I felt like I'm playing Elden Ring here. Music is very loud, very repetitive. Buying things costs you tickets. You can level up, craft armor, find treasure, gather resources like ore and wood, invite villagers to move in, but they are the most unlively villagers I've ever seen. But honestly, the whole world just feels unlively. NPCs just mostly stand still, which is fine. Like if they say one word and whatever, like that's fine. But the whole world and the whole game is just unlively, and that is not fine. These villagers can help you out on the farm, but their AI is so dumb. They're gonna water one crop, then they're gonna be running behind you while you do the rest of the work. And yeah, overall, this just feels like a cozy slop just to make money without any depth. I'm okay with, you know, NPC cabbages as long as the gameplay loop is fun, but yeah, this was not it. And this next one has my feelings a bit mixed. Like, I like it, but I also have issues with it that don't make me as excited to come back to it. You know, it's not as a hell yes as many of the other games on this list were. So this time we're in Taoyuan Village, I hope I said that right, a place where you can heal your loneliness. You can customize your character, and I appreciate the abundance of hair options. About the story, basically you see a glimpse of yourself growing up, then one day you fall, you almost die, and a mysterious figure helps you. Somehow you end up in this farmhouse and you're instantly put to work even though you just fell and almost died.
Get off my back.
And there comes this talking cat yelling at you to not meddle with things. Yeah, nothing suspicious at all. I really like the portraits, I love the pixel art style, and I really love the cherry blossoms in the dialogue box. And look, every time you click, they're gonna blossom, which is so cute. The first thing I notice is the game just wants to get the tutorial out of the way, so it throws this massive window at you and it's like, here, learn. To start working, you have your basic tools. Farming-wise, your crops can grow into golden ones, and mature crops can be bred into prime seeds. Farming has a soil fertility mechanic here, and you should fertilize before sowing. Fishing is very easy. You use bait, throw in the line, catch when you see the exclamation point. You can also forage, mine, tame animals by giving them their favorite food. So I got this little boar cub that was so cute, and it gives you 10% defense. There's combat here, but like many farming games, it's mostly meh. And if you're not keen on games like, let's say, Pal World, you're not gonna like this because you're gonna kill some pretty cute little animals. My biggest nitpick is, once again, the map. It's too big. Things are too spread apart, and the way the quests are executed is tedious. For example, in one of the quests, you go all the way to the bamboo grove to complete a quest. So you gather the bamboo, only to be told, you know what, no, go back all the way to where you picked up this quest in the first place because you gotta upgrade the axe first. Like, why didn't you tell me that from the start?
Why?
Also, NPCs are very hard to be told apart on the map. Apart from that, you can decorate, use a barter system. There's a lot of minigames, including when you harvest, but I just don't like any of the minigames, so thankfully you can turn them off. So yeah, I really wanted to like this one. This is I think the second game on this list where I'm like, I don't know. I did uninstall it, but I kind of want to go back, but I'm still not sure. But here's one that I actually resonated with a lot more. I've been so eager to try this one ever since they announced it. Playing it was a whirlwind because I went from not having fun at all in the first hour to then being so sad that the timer went off by the second hour. So you play as Ito, a young shaman chef whose mom and dad have been acting weird lately. There are cutscenes with sound effects and no voice acting, and these will drive the story forward. There's no character customization here, which I don't mind, but what I do mind is the stop motion effect lagged because it was giving me motion sickness. We need an option to turn these off in games, like please devs, please, I'm begging you, because yeah. And the camera tends to just shift unexpectedly, and that caught me off guard a few times. The game overall has a loop of hack and slash combat to gather resources, following the narrative-driven quests and farming. In combat, you can dodge, you can use your companion to target enemies, and you use consumable to get your and your companion's health back up. Around the town, you're gonna find these kiosks that will let you travel to different areas, and the areas are pretty small and compact. Farming is easy, there are no seasons, there's no stamina. You plant crops, fertilize them, and they're gonna grow as the time passes by when you are out in the wilderness. Stamina is more like energy for dodging and special abilities rather than farming. I really like the barter system. You can exchange coins or items you found in the world, but then you also press this button to balance things out, and then the game will just do the rest of the math for you. The game overall doesn't tell you much, and the cooking tutorial is one of the worst cooking tutorials I've seen in a game, but somehow I still want to play more even though it has some really annoying mechanics. I feel like, I don't know, the game is just calling my name and I really want to play it again.
One more game, one more game, one more game, one more game.
I played this demo on stream and I like it for the most part, but my worries on that stream sadly got more fleshed out when the full release came out. In Dragon Song Tavern, you play as one of the two siblings and you can customize your character, which gives you plenty of options. Then the sibling that you play as decides, you know what, I'm gonna buy this tavern that apparently is haunted by a dragon, put us in debt, and yeah, why not? And somehow you decide it's very wise to run the tavern with this strange entity that just threatened to unalive you.
What?
I don't mind the mix between the 3D and 2D art style that I know a lot of you do mind. And to farm, you're gonna start with this small plot, which I believe you can later on unlock more. You can till 6 plots at a time, you can place multiple seeds at once, and you use magic to quickly water the field. But the controls are not the best here, and you're gonna notice little things in the game that keep breaking your immersion just because of the bugs. Like even the creatures just vanish when a cutscene starts. Character portraits just never have the characters display any different expression, and the map feels like a placeholder. The twist here is running your tavern alongside the farm, so you can set the menu, serve your customers, and then you clean up after them. To serve your customers, you first need to cook and research recipes, which I still don't like even since the stream because the hinting system that is given is just not the best, and you're gonna waste valuable resources trying to guess the right ingredient. You also have these workshops outside, like the windmill that you can use to make flour, and the dairy workshop to make things like cheese. Additionally, you have active and passive skills for you, your sibling, and Luca the dragon, because there is combat here if I'm not mistaken, but we didn't get to experience that. You can fish, decorate the tavern, go to the hub to buy different items, but every shop looks like a copy-paste version of the same main template. And when you're serving customers, I don't know why the devs thought it's a good idea that every single one of them will give you a review when they leave, and then they show you the review once again when you close the tavern. Like, why do I need to see this twice? The music is painfully repetitive, there's massive input delay at times, screen tearing, which is crazy, and some areas feel unfinished. This is such a missed opportunity. I'd come back if we get more quality of life features and much needed polish. And even at $20, it feels like it's lacking so much love, and the devs are falling into the trap of making a lot of paid cosmetics rather than fixing the issues. So I really hope that they get some sense into them and prioritize their player base, because this could be a great game, you know. But unfortunately for now, it's just gonna be an uninstall and not come back until maybe they somehow do a 2.0 version, flesh out everything, fix it, then I would love to try it. Okay, this one, I wanted to like it, but basically, you're scammed into buying an entire planet.
235 acres. We farming our own chickens, homie. Thousands of chickens, thousands. Running around everywhere, quack, quack, quack.
I mean, what a responsible and adult-like decision to be made, you know? And then you learn that there's this mega corporation trying to take over smaller planets to steal their resources. I love the art style here. It's pixelated, I love how colorful it is, and the cheeky humor that's sprinkled around is really neat. You can customize your character, by the way. So, you've got 3 seasons. Cold, hot, and I think it's called intermediate. And of course, you've got your farming tools. So to farm, you're gonna till the soil, plant, water, and of course, make sure that you're planting things in the right season. A merchant will come by to sell you crops 3 times a week, and the gimmick here is that your planet is not the only one. You have the spaceship which you can use to visit other planets, and each one is gonna have its own biome, resources, NPCs, and even festivals that you can take part in. But I don't know, I found them mostly empty and boring, and playing this game just made me miss Little Known Galaxy. If you've never played it, it's like Stardew Valley and Starfield, let's say. It's very cute, very underrated. I've reviewed it before, so definitely check it out. Anyway, when you visit a planet in Farlands, you gotta manage its own day cycle and calculate the time that it takes you to get back, because you need to get back home on time to sleep, otherwise you will faint. And you're also gonna use your resources to fill up the power cells. The controls felt finicky, they are not too accurate. NPCs are quirky, as I said, and the romanceable ones have interactions with a percentage of success if you chat, joke, or flirt with them. Sometimes you wish you have that in real life. And I also like their avatars, but apart from that, I wasn't really interested in any of them. And the biggest weakness here is the quest guidance and navigation. Now, this game is in early access, so all of this might be improved, but you're gonna see an exclamation mark on a planet where a story event is happening. What the game fails to tell you is exactly where you need to go, so you're just gonna be entering all of the buildings until you find it, which is just tedious and you're wasting time for no reason. And overall, I just felt like I don't really have a purpose here. I was just wandering around and hoping that my timer's gonna go off, which is the opposite of what happened with this next game. And the funniest thing is, I did not like the next game for the longest time, even though y'all tried to drill in like bubbles, try it, give it a chance again. Yeah, I did, and you were right. Yeah, this took me a bit, but I can confidently say
I understand it now.
Palia, when my timer went off, I was so sad. Oh my god, I did not want to stop playing this. Look, I've seen the hype. I tried it before. I did not click with it. I'm sorry. I understand it now.
You were right. I was less right.
First, I'm so happy to see FOV options for us motion-sick baddies. You can customize your character, but these hairstyles need so much more work. Especially, what is this with the curly hair options? Palia team, do better. Anyway, the game tries to pull off a Breath of the Wild moment in the beginning, and I gotta say, yeah, you lost that. You lost that in that department. Nobody does it like Breath of the Wild. But anywho, you are the only human here because your kind got extinct, which, by the way the world is evolving and moving today, I will not be surprised if that happens in real life, but you know, let's not be all doom and gloom. You have a wide range of skills that level up the more that you try them, a la Skyrim fashion. And you got this focus bar here, which acts like your stamina, and it's refilled by eating. I like the tool wheel, and I like that when you're crafting, you get an idea to learn new recipes, and you choose one of these 3 shadows. So you can kind of tell sometimes what it's gonna be, and then you decide what you're gonna unlock next. You farm by placing a plot down, tilling it, planting it, and watering it. Some plants have effects too, like onions help you get rid of weeds. Now, you can throw smoke bombs to catch bugs, you can use a bow and arrow to hunt, and I like the fishing here because it feels active yet so relaxing. I love the MMO aspect as well. Seeing other humans just running around makes the world feel more lively. And that's really good because some of the areas are empty by design. You can visit other people's homes and go balls to the walls with your own house. You can rotate furniture in tiny increments, and there's so much customizability options, which makes sense why y'all have the most gorgeous houses out here. But there are also some hiccups. I think it's a miss that you can't swim and you just gotta take the long route sometimes, like why? There's also a lot of pop-in, like I have a really good rig and somehow I was just struggling to run this at times. I also dealt with some input delay, and I had a bug where my character just completely vanished. The game is technically still in early access, and yet it's still heavily monetized. Now, since it's free, I don't mind having cosmetics locked behind a paid wall, but do not touch gameplay loops. These should never be paywalled. So let me know, is it true that the gameplay mechanic of you riding a horse is actually paid? Because if it is, that's crazy. What? Like, no, why would you, what? But yeah, apart from that, I'm definitely playing this more, but please tell me that, you know, they're not locking gameplay mechanics, because if they are, I'm just gonna have to not play it again, and that's gonna make me sad. That's gonna really make me sad.
One more game! One more game!
Now, this next game is when a developer wants their game to do everything at once. They kind of understand the assignment, but actually they also don't. And also, a disclaimer, AI is used for sound effects and to modify some of the music, which I implore you devs, hire human artists instead, because why are we doing this? Now, right off the bat, I love the art style in Land of Idyllic Beauty, except for the female characters. There's just something uncanny about them. Like, what is this? Farming-wise, it's quick. You choose which crop to plant, and the soil is automatically tilled for you. If only this is how things are done in real life. Then you water the crop and you wait for it to grow. The game switches between your tools automatically, which is a nice touch, but the controller is finicky to use at the moment. Like, you can't even choose which crop you want to water, so the game is just gonna randomly water things for you. The controls are very finicky, watering is weird as I said, customization is also very limited, and this guy keeps telling me to like come here. I was like, what's your problem, bro? Like, how about not? You can easily decorate your house, you can change the floors, wallpaper, and lighting right from the menu in the house, except I'm not sure how and where to get furniture from. There are romanceable characters, I just didn't connect with any of them, and there's also mod support already. The game is all about managing your many businesses, so you can open up shops, you can hire villagers, and of course you gotta make sure that they are well fed and have proper accommodation. The menus are overwhelming, the music is so generic, it feels like a Jet 2 holiday somehow, but I mean, this is what happens when you trust AI to make art for you. It's just gonna steal stuff from other people. Apart from that, you're gonna have to manage supply chains. You can open, a tea shop, you can sell boba, use sprinklers, upgrade tools, and even sell illegal goods on the black market. The tutorial is complicated, translation can be awful at times, and the game just feels like a menu simulator. It's weird, because I feel like this can be a great game, but there's also a lot of issues that need to be fixed, so I'm on the fence. I uninstalled it for now, so this is another one of those meh games. Like, uninstall, once they remove all of the AI shit and they get some of the stuff more streamlined, I would happily come back. Farm to Table is in early access, and I'm happy we already have field of view options up to 90, but please, can we do it up to 120 next? That would be great, because I did get motion sickness in the 2 hours that I played. But onto the craziness, these NPCs look insane. You start by placing down tables, chairs, a stovetop, and a cooking station. Cooking is pretty quick. For example, you add mushroom to the stovetop, chop it, close the lid, and voila, your first mushroom dish is served. Not that kind of mushroom, okay?
I finally got my Lambo!
Customers raise their hand for food as if they're in class, which was hilarious to see. And your crops need to be watered, but every time you water them, you're just gonna have to pay a lot of money again. You can research things like getting more tips from customers, fast travel back to the restaurant, and eventually hire waiters. There's a lot of progress for you to make, and research is always tied to serving specific dishes. By the end of my game time, I unlocked structures, so you can also build like an entire restaurant from scratch. But here's the thing though, you can barely stay afloat because your crops cost a lot more from what a dish is gonna get you. So this is why you gotta upgrade your recipes multiple times to make profit. Overall, I like this one, but the pacing is too slow for my liking, so I feel like this is more fun to play on a stream rather than just play it all by myself. Now, I did not expect someone to tell me to go back to where I came from in a game, but hot damn.
What do you say fuck me for?
This is how I started my journey in Japanese rural life adventure. Now, customization is very limited to the point where you only have 3 skin tones and 5 hair options, but the game is about experiencing the Japanese rural life through this list of events, 79 events to be specific. This one works like a mobile game because it was a mobile game, but without the microtransactions. And of course, this will translate into the gameplay loop. Small things that you do are gonna consume stamina, but you can sleep at any time to restore it. You start by cleaning up and fixing the shed that you've rented. You're gonna gather weeds and branches, which thankfully don't use stamina, and eventually you get a well-used hoe. The game's words, not mine.
Are you sure about that?
The landlord is pretty rude in the beginning, but eventually he became nice to me. I wish more people could learn from this behavior. Be like the landlord. Don't be a dick. Farming is simple. Till the soil, buy seeds from the peddling lady, plant, water, use the river to fill your can, then harvest. You also have a DIY table, infinite inventory, bug catching, fishing, and clothes that you can wear based on the weather. It can get repetitive, waiting for logs and stones to respawn, but the experience was pretty zen as a whole. NPCs are mostly elderly, there is no romance here, so you don't got no room for flirtation. But not gonna lie, I really enjoyed this game. I will be playing it more. I feel like it's the perfect unwind after work, put on a show and just not think about anything and try it, and I think it's gonna be really good on Steam Deck if it works there. Okay, I thought Critter Cove was fully released, but it's actually still in early access. Now, I loved the demo, even though the diving terrified me, and that still applies here, but I have some nitpicks, and I feel like these should have been fixed by now. Basically, you've been fished into coming to this island, which is an absolute shambles, and somehow you agree to help fix it. You collect resources, learn blueprints, clean up the island, craft tools, cook, sleep to restore stamina, and you're gonna use this notice board to pick up requests, but we didn't get to experience farming before the timer went off. You've got your stamina and your health, which are easy to manage, and you don't have to go to bed at a set time. I really like the dialogue is quirky. Some of the neighbors will literally chase you down to get your attention just to give you a quest. Also, tracking these quests is very easy, but the map needs so much improvement. You can't see villagers' location unless you buy them a bracelet. There's no mini-map. You can't place markers down, so yeah, all of this needs work. Now, there's no romance here, which I've got no problems with. You can also use your ship to go to different islands so that you can find new people who got shipwrecked and they need your help to come back to a place to live. The music is nice, but I don't like that we don't have any sound effects right now. This is so immersion breaking. The developer came into the stream and helped us out, and we learned that you're not gonna have to restart the game when it comes out in 1.0, which is really good to know. I love that the game also lets me hoard, explore, craft, gather resources. Like, this is the Miss Bubbles blueprint. I can see myself spending hours with this, and I definitely want to play more.
One more game, one more game, one more game, one more game, one more game.
By the way, the devs are so freaking awesome because they gave me a bunch of codes so you can win a Steam key of this early access game. I'll let you know on the screen how many codes I have, and if you want to enter the giveaway, all you gotta do is squish the like button, and whatever comments you leave down below, just add your favorite flower emoji, and that's it, you're gonna be in the giveaway. I will announce the winners about 20 days after this video goes live. All I want from you is answer me back if you are a winner, because if I don't hear back within a week, I will have to pick another person to win. Next is Ova Magica. It was in early access for a while, but it got fully released the same day that I tried the game. Now, this game is pretty much Pokemon if it was a farming game, and the Pokemon are these cute blobs. You get to choose your starter blob, and in general, you have storm, fire, and wind types. I went with fire because that's usually my favorite element in games. You can customize your character, by the way, and the NPCs have their own separate avatars, but not having a mouth in chibi form was a bit off-putting. So you're going back to Clover Town where your mom grew up, and you quickly integrate into the town. You have blob battles, which are turn-based. So basically you have this moving action bar that is divided into recovery time and casting, and one more that I forgot its name. When you pick a skill, it's gonna take your blob some time to cast. And once it's your turn to attack, you can push the enemy back in the timeline and take off some of their HP. Then when they're about to attack, you can use the defend button or you're gonna get your ass wiped. Blobs have different status effects and you can feed them. And apparently you have blob breeding, which I did not reach at that stage. Farming wise, you have 3 seasons. They're called Solis, Ceres, and Frigus, where different crops can be grown. And to farm, you craft these planters, you place them down, plant your crop, and water the crop. I wish we have a mini-map to make things easier. I don't like how this map looks and how the icons are always zooming in and out. It just made me dizzy to look at. But what I do like is how easy it is for you to find your next objective. You can romance, you also have a skill tree, you can catch bugs and fish, which at one point it got me into an unexpected battle where I was fighting for my life.
Smack lip, whoop, drop down, snap, ah!
You have this main hub with different shops to pop in, and this is where I saw this crazy family eating as if this is their last meal of their lifetime. You also have difficulty levels to choose from, and I'm happy to see that most indie games now have accessibility options, because I don't know why AAA is not doing that, but then indie games are doing it. Can we do better? By the way, the sound effects in this game are the weakest from this entire list. They're very annoying, very repetitive, and they feel very cheap. I can't put my finger on it. I think the game is cute, but cute is just not enough, and the gameplay loop never hooked me, so it's an uninstall and just never play again. Now this one, I can safely say I missed out on this game and I'm so mad about it. I bought it ages ago and finally I got to play it on the Switch and I'm absolutely in love with it. You play as this entitled noble who looks like a child but is actually an adult, and your drunken ass mess ends up with you setting the Divine Garner on fire. So as a punishment, the goddess banishes you to the Isle of Demons. So now you're going from being served with food and being taken care of to now having to cultivate your own rice and experience side-scrolling combat. I usually hate platformers because they just keep me on my toes in a way where my butt cheeks are clenched and I just don't like it. Maybe it's a skill issue, I don't know, probably. But here, it was not too bad. I actually had a great time. Not having my, butt cheeks clenched, but it was just easy to play. This whole sentence is just a mess. Anyways, moving along. You're accompanied by humans and also an old fart. Sorry, it's Tama. He is your advisor, but he's also so cute. There's something about Marvelous always giving us these cute little thingies that will follow us, and somehow they end up being all wise and mighty. I'm kind of looking at you, Wooby, because he's the same situation if you played Guardians of Azuma. Anyway, combat is fast and fun. You use this grappling hook to grab onto walls, and then you can also use it on your enemies to swing them around. You have heavy and light attacks. You're gonna unlock special powers for your weapons like this one, which lets you send rocks smashing into enemies, but you can also use it to access resources that you couldn't reach before. Farming is pretty complex. It's mostly farming rice, unlike other farming games that throw, 69 crops at you at a time. But maintaining these till harvest is pretty rough. You gotta manage the water levels, the water temperature, take out weeds, use fertilizer and manage that as well. You're gonna make sure you plant the rice with proper spacing, and it's a game of getting lots of yield or lower yield but at higher quality. And this ends up in a game of you balancing if you want to get lots of yield with low quality or high quality and low yield. The seasons here are only 3 days long and the game doesn't tell you much. You learn mostly by finding these hidden scrolls when you're going through the dungeons. Your harvest is also important because this is the only way you level up Sakuna. She's not gonna benefit from XP gained on the battlefield. You also need to manage her hunger, which gives you stat boosts, and overall, I love this. Even when you get the rice, you've got so many stages that you can do, but I can't talk about it because I ended up playing this game after the 2 hours finished, so I stopped taking notes and I can't really say, but at the 2-hour mark, I was already hooked to the point that, I just couldn't stop playing. I do have a lot of nitpicks though, like how slow you are when you're planting, repeating the dungeons a few times before new areas open up, and there's also lots of attention to micromanaging, which I personally enjoy, but I think a lot of you might not like. And Lord have mercy, 60 hours later, here we are. If you stayed till this point in this video, you are flippin' awesome because you could have been doing absolutely anything in the world, but you've spent at least an hour with me. Thank you so much. You don't know how much that means to me. I've been working on this video for 2 years. Initially, it was supposed to be about cozy, non-farming games. I actually played 12 of those, but then I scratched the project, and now here we are with a whole new project. Don't forget that if there's a game that you absolutely love or hate and you don't see it on this list, it's probably in one of my other videos, so I'm gonna pin them for you below the like button. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies who make videos like this possible, and a shout out goes to the games I mentioned: Stella, John, Jake Logan, Faye, Grey Wolf, Blessing, Charming Kara, Fufei, Andrew, Cookie, and just a small time being for going the extra mile. I'm gonna be in Lebanon having the best time finally seeing my family, and I will see you, God willing, if I return back to the UK safely in the next one. Until next time, stay bubbly.